Okay, car chat. Hello, hello, hello. So I wanted to start doing these car chats, I feel like I always get an idea or a thought to talk about something when I'm in the car. So I had the thought that I'll just take you in the car with me and we'll talk about all these things that I think about, these random spurts of thought and inspiration. So, sorry if it's a little bumpy. So hello, welcome to my car. And I have been thinking a lot lately about the algorithm in our social media, the algorithm in the news, all the news, all the things. I don't want to talk about all of that kind of stuff. What I keep thinking about is the concept of an algorithm and the concept of, kind of this idea that we put ourselves in this box, in this is what our box is and this is who we are, to the point that like social media and, our feeds, whatever feed that we want to talk about, they all use this mathematical equation called an algorithm that kind of then shows you what you want to see. And then I kept thinking about that just like in terms of before there was an algorithm, I guess there wasn't before an algorithm because an algorithm is like math, but before there was social media and the computer and that whole system, we still in some way were in some sort of algorithm. We still are all surrounded by a certain group of people, a certain set of a community, a city, a state, country, culture that kind of somewhat defines what we ingest during the day. So when this kind of popped out to me because somebody grabbed my YouTube channel and they've been watching things and researching things on my YouTube channel on my TV. And all of a sudden I went to go look at a YouTube video and nothing on YouTube like appealed to me. It was all, everything about the YouTube channel was actually completely not what I would be searching and what I would be watching. And I thought to myself, well, this is really interesting because these are things that I have never heard of, or, some artist or songs that I have never heard or never even known about. And here they're popping up on my feed now as if this is something that I should know about and that I would want to know about. But really, it's my friend over here who is looking this stuff up. And I thought, this is so interesting that sometimes we think to ourselves that what we see, what we ingest, the things that we're surrounded by, that's almost like the entire world. But in all reality, it is whatever the algorithm that we are living in, the one that we're growing up in, that kind of defines what we consider to be our world, everything around us. So one time we were driving to some city, we were on a road trip, and my dad asked me, I was complaining about the music that was on the radio, and I didn't want to listen to country music. And I was like, I don't like country music, I don't want to listen to it. So my dad asked me this question. If you grew up in the country, if you grew up on a farm or you grew up out there in the country, would you like country music? Or if you grew up in Nashville, do you think that you would like country music? And I was like, hard no, which now I do like country music, but back then I was like, no, I like who I like. I'll never like country music. That's not something, nope, never. And then he asked me this question. Okay, so do you think if you were born and raised in a country like India, that you would like music from India? Bollywood music? And all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, I see what you're saying. And that is what I'm talking about, is the idea that we have to remember and remind ourselves that we are growing up, we're living, we're ingesting the culture, the surroundings that we have based on where we live, who we're around, our family dynamic, everything, where we work, what our industry is in. There are some times, in production and the filmmaking world, I'm constantly being put into different situations that I wouldn't normally be in. And I'm always learning new things, and I'm meeting new people in new industries. And it's funny to me that, you know, you meet someone in a completely different industry and their whole world is whatever they do. You know, if they're farming, their whole world is farming, and everybody that they are around is kind of a farming type of community. Or if you're in film, you know, a lot of the people that I surround myself with, film people, we all kind of know the same things. Or, you know, it just depends on whatever industry you're in, the people that you surround yourself with. It almost feels like the whole world is all around you and that everybody must know XYZ. But then you will find someone, and it is guaranteed that you will find millions and millions and millions of people that actually don't know XYZ that you know. The thing that I think that is so important about this reality, you might be thinking to yourself, well, like, duh, of course, like, we are controlled by our algorithm. And you might even be going to the extent that, you know, Facebook and Instagram are controlling what we like and what we see. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that we need to catch ourselves when we're thinking that what we see, what we read, is the totality of the whole entire world. You know, I think sometimes we can get caught up in that mindset because we are seeing it everywhere. And also when we're ingesting this in social media, it's also something that then we start to notice because our brain has now calibrated to this is something that we're looking for. So you'll start to notice it everywhere that you go. And so we have to remind ourselves that, hold on just a second, there is a whole world beyond my culture and my algorithm that sees and thinks about the world differently. And I think if we can stay curious about that, stay interested in kind of seeing the world through somebody else's algorithm, then it will cause us to have more connection with other people, more compassion for people that are in a completely different, you know, community or country or, you know, group of people that we are not in. So it opens your mind to really see the world and find truth, to be honest. Being able to kind of isolate yourself away from what you're surrounded by, realizing that other people, there is a completely separate algorithm that everybody else is living in, and kind of putting yourself in that curiosity of like, well, what is other people's algorithm? What is, you know, that person ingesting all day, every day? What is the whole world for someone else? What is that like, and how can I learn? What can I understand about that? I think when we're curious about it, when we can kind of step back and realize these things and then go, okay, so what I'm seeing is not the whole world. So then let me go and get curious about somebody else's world and what they're seeing all day, every single day. And then that way it gives us kind of this broader, bigger picture to look at. And to me, it's really it's important too that we don't just get caught up in an algorithm and then just start and sometimes almost lose ourselves in that and not allow ourselves to branch out, because it might open up opportunities. It might cause a spark in you that, you know, an idea or something just starts to be motivated inside of you that you've never thought of before, because you've only been surrounded by the things that you're surrounded by. And I'm not saying, you know, make new friends. I mean, if you need to make new friends, if your friends are not supportive, then absolutely. But what I'm saying is really a mindset shift of understanding that our world that we live in is not the totality of the entire 7-point-something billion people on the planet. And when we remind ourselves of that there is another world outside of the people that we're around, the Facebook that we see, the news that we see, when we realize that there's more beyond that, I think it opens up some opportunity for us to find, you know, truth, connection, compassion, empathy with one another. And those are things that we need more of in the world today, honestly. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. That's a little car chat moment, because we are surrounded by a lot right now. And it's our job, and we have the power to take responsibility for what we read, what we see, what we think, and what we feel. We are in control of ourselves, so we have the opportunity to step back and to really analyze and self-reflect and ask questions and get curious about the world and find our way to truth and to love, compassion, empathy, connection with one another. And that really should be our goal, to find more connection with ourselves and with other people, to find more compassion and empathy with ourselves and with other people. So I think stay curious. That is something a friend told me just recently, is to stay curious. And I, in my curiosity, have been thinking about just, the algorithm that we're living in, our cultural mindset that surrounds us, and making sure that what we believe in, what we think, and how we feel is because we really do think and feel that way, and not because our algorithm and our community and our society is then conditioning us that way. Free your mind. That sounds so weird, but you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about this in the process of being bombarded with so much content and so much media. But yeah, that's my car chat for today. And I will see you on our next car chat. The next time I get a wild haired idea while I'm in the car, I will let you in on it. I hope you have a great day. Bye.